As most of you guys know, I became the director of the kids program at the start of the pandemic. And it was 2020, and there was a stated goal, which was to keep our kids program going, just keep it alive. And when you're in that state of mind, you're not really thinking about culminations and coming of ages and things ending. You're just pushing forward, pushing forward. And last year that shifted. Zeta, our teen helper, was getting ready to go off to college, and it's pretty clear that Sas and B had reached a point where they were outgrowing what our program was offering for them. And it seemed really appropriate to provide them with some sort of culmination to mark that transition, right? The last coming of age cohort for Brooklyn Society of Ethical Culture was in 2017, okay? That was a year before I even was a teacher here. So I've never seen a coming of age program for BSEC before. In fact, I'm not even sure exactly what I'm going to see today because I handed some of this off very appropriately into caring and very capable hands, right? But when we were trying to figure out what that culmination might look like, we wanted to, and reimagining it, we knew that it needed to honor the coming of age programs from Brooklyn Ethical that came before. We knew it needed to embody the core premises of the ethical children's program, the 5 care fors that we were just talking about. And also that it needed to evolve because it needed to meet the needs of these specific students. I know that I'm biased, but the starting point for these 2 young women, that's a pretty high bar. They are nothing short of amazing. A few of the many activities that they have been a part of just this year, right, that could have been a part of a culminating program if they weren't already doing it on their own, were things like Saskia was a volunteer in the accessibility section for the Queer Liberation March this summer in June. B did some primary canvassing for Mamdani, right? They both helped to organize and host a bonding night, which was filled with activities designed to deepen the bonds within their peer group, right? I ask you, how many of you have been asked of your peers recently, what is a part of you that doesn't feel like it's being nurtured enough? Those are the kinds of questions they're posing to one another, right? Saskia helped to support family connections and caring for the earth, educating people about making maple syrup at the New York State Fair this summer, right? B stepped up her activism with Extinction Rebellion up to a whole other level. She was arrested doing a climate action this year. As homeschoolers, they both have a lot of influence over the direction of their studies for high school, and they chose to learn about things like New York City infrastructure. They're taking a literature class together about imagining the future through perspective fiction, which means the last book both of them read was Fahrenheit 451. They've studied American history from the Native perspective. I can keep going. But I think you get it. What I'm trying to say is that this presentation and their coming of age, it's just a very small glimpse into them coming of age and the kind of adults that they are becoming and the kind of members of Brooklyn Ethical that they are. I'm gonna put a little interlude in here. If Zane would do another piece for us. And then I'll hand it off to those who have done coming of age stuff. This piece is Hollowed Night. Thank you, Zane. I'm going to call forward Laura Borgwardt because she's been the teacher and mentor for these two for their actual coming of age program to introduce them and the program that they've been doing. Thank you, Laura.
All right. Thank you, Angel, and thank you, Zane. That was beautiful. Hi, everybody. My name is Laura. I'm one of the teaching artists at the Ethics for Children program. You might have seen me wrangling a toddler in between platform and our program. And I had the privilege of working with Saskia and Beatrice this summer on their coming of age project. As Angel said, in the Ethics for Children program, we follow the structure of 5 care fors: self, family, community, society, and earth. The true tenets of what the kids program at Brooklyn Ethical is based on. As our coming of age project, we took those values, those care fors, and reimagined them as short films. We started with a brainstorm of what the different care fors mean to us, figured out which genre would fit each of the 5 topics. Were we going to make a coming of age road trip dramedy for Care for Self or a post-apocalyptic sci-fi film for Care for Earth? You'll have to wait and see what happens. And then we learned about film production while simultaneously writing scripts and designing the films, which serve as a culmination of their experience at EFC. One of my favorite days was a Zoom session we had while folks were traveling, and I asked them to play a game where we had to set up frames and camera moves like close-up, mid, wide shot, zoom, pan, tilt, etc., using our Zoom camera and whatever we had in the space with us. They didn't miss a beat and joyfully dove into setting up elaborate point of view shots and over the shoulders with quick additions of siblings or stuffed animals. And I love the joy with which they approach the project and the thoughtfulness they put into their work. Their willingness to jump in makes them amazing students to work with in class, but also incredible members of their communities and society at large. Bea and Saskia wrote, directed, starred in, and edited the 5 films that you're about to see, and really took over the creative authority of the project. They explored new things and shared their vast wealth of knowledge that they bring with them into a room. The thoughtfulness with which they approached each other and the ideas they built was exemplary collaboration. Their ability to say yes and build on each other's ideas and support one another is something that adults, especially like the elected officials who are tasked with taking care of people, could really take a lesson from. They maintained inclusivity throughout, inviting friends to join them while they filmed, who were swiftly put to work as camera operators and scorekeepers. And in addition to this summer project, it's been a pleasure working with them on the other side of our youth programming as assistants for the Ethics for Children program. They have the ability to read a room and anticipate what folks might need, and even better, they aren't afraid to ask people what they need and then find a way to give them that support. Beatrice and Saskia are keen listeners and observers, but they are also so ready and so capable as leaders. And I hope that you will invite them into that role here at Brooklyn Ethical, Grown-Up Edition. Because these young grown-ups are filled with endless ideas, a fierce collaborative spirit, and an enviable sense of hope, which we can all really learn from. One of the films explores the idea of learning from younger generations and being open to ideas from youth, and seeing ideas being exchanged multi-generationally up and down and back and forth as we build something greater together. Beatrice and Saskia are prime examples of what I believe Brooklyn's Ethical stands for: always learning, expanding their worldview through reading and music and experience, inviting others in, and taking an initiative to change and make change in the world. I can't wait to see what they do next. Please join me in welcoming Beatrice Beckler and Saskia Walsh. And I believe that Saskia is going to tell a little bit about their experience at BSEC, and then Beatrice will share what we're about to see.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, thank you all for coming to our platform. I'm really excited to show everyone everything. I was tasked with say a little bit about BSEC, and so I started writing stuff down, and then it kind of ended up being a speech. So I guess here's my speech about BSEC. Um, it all comes back to BSEC. This is a saying that B coined probably about a year and a half ago when both of our fathers were deeply invested in the board, and my mother was, of course, working here, and we were students at the children's program. Every conversation at the time seemed to somehow end up on the topic of BSEC, despite our attempts at it not. BSEC seems to take up more and more space as time goes on in my life and in my family and sometimes in my thoughts. I started going to Brooklyn Ethical in 2018, and that was 7 years ago, which is nearly half my lifetime. In that time, my mother's become the director of the children's program. My father has joined the board and left the board. And I have gone to countless events and helping with setup and tear down. And now I'm a teacher's assistant in the children's program that I grew up on. Despite my rebuttal, BSEC has been a pretty core part of my childhood and seems to be setting itself up to continue to play a pretty core part of my life, with talk of me joining committees and joining the board, and of course them giving me early work experience as a TA at EFC. In this project that I've spent the last 6 months on, I think I learned the most from interviewing the members of BSEC, which we did for one of the films. People have this hope and admiration rooted in BSEC. Even from the people I know aren't always the biggest fans of it, they talk about it with a level of care and understanding. They have this hesitant but very real appreciation for what it is and what it tries to be. A word I heard countless times from everyone I talked to was community. The people we interviewed mentioned each other and other members and past members and the experiences they shared with one another. When they think of this place, when the members of BSEC think of BSEC, they think of the people, and I think there's something to be said for that. Everyone kind of knows each other. We're not all friends, and in my case, we're not peers most of the time, but there's always a sense of I know someone there. No one is more than 2 degrees of separation away from anyone else. There's a saying that goes something along the lines of to be known is to be loved. I don't know if that fits perfectly, but I think it kind of gives the gist of what I'm trying to say. BSEC is always open. When class was still happening at the 53 building and platform was happening here at the same time, I would sometimes come here early just to grab a bagel, and then I would walk to the 53 building for class. There have been times that I've stopped in just for the bathroom, or I've gone just to the tail end of events for the food. But I've always been welcomed. I'm welcomed and I'm appreciated no matter what. BSEC has always been there at whatever capacity I wanted it to be there. Despite everything, it's always somehow always there waiting for me, because it all comes back to BSEC.
I'm going to be sort of introducing the films. I'll start by saying thank you all so much for being here. It's an honor to know you all and be up on this stage, and I have lots of friends here and lots of other friends here, and people I know from BSEC and people I know from other things, and it's just really great to be in a room with all of you. And so yeah, the films we're going to be seeing today, what is the order? I'll just say them in order. The Care for Okay. The Care for Self film is a courtroom drama about caring for yourself and recognizing your needs. And the Care for Family film is a family game show where we learn about our family members. And the Care for Community film is interviews of a lot of people in the BSEC community. And that one is really meaningful, I feel like. And the Care for Society film is a cooking show of society, and we have a society chili right over there that you can taste if there's any left. It was very yummy. And the Care for Earth film is a silent or like musical, no words film about learning from the younger generation and caring for the earth. Yeah. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Family Trivia, the Beckler episode. I'm your host, Saskia, and today we'll be finding out just how much our contestants, the Becklers, know about each other through this fun and exciting trivia game. We've asked the family members for fun facts about themselves that the others might not know, making up our 5 categories: Bill, Jana, Solomon, Beatrice, and Nadine. For our first round, we're going to start with Bill Beckler. What food was Bill forced to eat as a child that then made him vomit? Is it A, mayonnaise, B, peas, or C, asparagus? And the answer was, in fact, peas. For our next Bill question, how did a friend save Bill from near death? They chopped a snake's head off with a machete right as it was about to strike. They grabbed him by the backpack as he was falling off a cliff in New Hampshire. Or they reached over and grabbed the steering wheel while he was falling asleep during a cross-country road trip. And the answer was A. We're now going to move on to Jana Beckler. For our first question, why did Jana go to San Diego, California in elementary school? Was it A, to study oceanography, B, to visit a pen pal, or C, to live on a farm for a couple of weeks? And the answer was A. What was one of the first books that made Jana cry? Was it A, Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, B, The Fixer by Bernard Malatling, or C, Island of the Dolphins by Scott Odell? The answer was in fact B, The Fixer. What was Jana's favorite activity to do with friends as a child? Was it A, making pancakes, B, ice skating, or C, sleeping on a trampoline? Flip over your boards, please. The answer was, in fact, C. For our next round, we've got Solomon Beckler. For our first question, how many monitors has Solomon found on the street? A, 2, B, 3, or C, 4? Please flip over your boards. The answer was, in fact, B. Was previously B, but the actual answer is C. For our next question, what is Solomon's favorite restaurant to eat at? This is a write-in question. Please flip them over. For this next question, I'm going to list a list of ingredients that is most of the recipe for Brooke's Best Bombshell Brownies, and there will be one ingredient missing. You will then have to write down what the missing ingredient is and how much. 1 cup melted butter, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract, 4 eggs, 1.5 cups of flour, 1 cup chocolate powder, 1 teaspoon salt, and 1 cup of chocolate chips. What is missing? Flip over your boards, please. And the answer was, in fact, 3 cups of sugar. Wow! Moving on to our next round, we've got Beatrice Beckler. For our first question, B has read all 12 of the books by which author? Lucy Maud Montgomery, Alice Osman, or Shannon Hale? Please flip over your boards. The answer was B, Alice Osman. Whoa! For our next question, how many times has B been to the Eastern State Penitentiary? A, 1 time, B, 2 times, or C, 3 times? The answer was B, 2 times. For our next question, which is true about B? Her favorite color changed recently to yellow. Her favorite color has always been pink and still is. Her favorite color changes all the time. Please flip over your boards. And the answer was B. Her favorite color has always been pink and still is. For our next round, we've got Nadine Beckler. Yay! Nadine. Nadine has been to which museum? The Skyscraper Museum, the Color Museum, or the Jewish History Museum? Please flip over your boards. The answer is A, the Skyscraper Museum. What is Nadine's favorite room in your house? Is it A, the basement, B, the living room, or C, your own bedroom? Please flip over your boards. And the answer was B, the living room. For this next question, 2 of these answers are correct, but you only get the point if you get both of them correct. What is Nadine's favorite place in Brooklyn? A, your house, B, Prospect Park, or C, the pool? Please flip over your boards. And the answers were A and B, your house and Prospect Park. Yay! Yay! And that concludes all of the Beckler rounds. Woohoo! All right, and according to this very official way of counting the best Beckler, it seems as if the best of all time Beckler is Bill Beckler! You know your family. Thank you, Becklers, for participating in our family trivia, and thank you all for watching. Join us next time for the Thompson Walshes to battle it out to find out who knows the most about their family.
That was so fun, guys.
We did it. We did it. We're still a family.
We won.
All rise. The court is now in session. You may be seated. Opening statements, please. I, Maggie, will be representing myself in this case, and I believe that the relationship between myself and Gabby has become unhealthy and toxic, and I plan to prove this. I, Maggie, as the defendant, really value the friendship with Gabby and believe we had put too much time and energy into this friendship to rightfully back out now. I will be defending this point today. Thank you. Prosecution, you may call your witness. Please state your full name. Intrusive thought. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. What have you noticed in this relationship? They repeatedly bring up private and personal topics in public around my friends, And they continue to joke about my dyslexia even after I told them to drop it on multiple occasions. How does this affect you? Being around them has become so draining. I always feel like I have to hold space for them when I feel like I can't even talk to them anymore without worrying they'll end up repeating it. Thank you, Miss Thought. That will be all. As I see it, it seems pretty clear what this relationship has become: unhealthy. Despite attempts at setting boundaries and communicating, Gabby has continued to push, becoming draining and uncomfortable. We have to put our own well-being first, above all else. Sometimes you have to protect your peace. Please state your full name. Memory. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. How long have you known Gabby? Nearly 3 years. Could you tell me about some experiences you've had with them? We've gone on countless adventures together. We've gone anywhere from the park to the planetarium, even to New Jersey. There was one year that they came with my family to our annual trip to the mountains, and one time we ate all the ice cream in the freezer. They're really just down for anything. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you, Memory. We have been close friends with Gabby for years, accumulating a number of wonderful memories. They're a funny, creative, and overall really fun person to be around who lights up any room that they enter. And we want to throw that away? Years of building a relationship over what? Us being sensitive? Instead, what I suggest that we do is, before confronting them, give them time to grow as a person and reconvene later. Thank you, Defendant Maggie. Plaintiff Maggie, do you have anything to add? Yes. I would like to remind the court that we have already given Gabby time and multiple opportunities to learn from their mistakes, with little to no success. Now is the time to set clear and unavoidable boundaries. Defendant, any final comments? We willingly became friends with Gabby and continued to become closer. If we had problems with them prior, we could have done something. I don't think it's right to suddenly decide we're not okay with them anymore. The jury will now deliberate and we will reconvene to hear the verdict. We have come to the verdict that the defendant is guilty of not upholding healthy boundaries. You must confront this individual on what they have been doing and end the friendship. A clear explanation of why you are cutting them off must be included. Court adjourned. is your name?
My name is Ann Clayson.
Damon Lewis Worden.
My name is Tati Sena.
Michaeline Karnasevitz.
I'm Tara.
I like to be called Dupre.
My name is Nadine.
Why do you go to Brooklyn Ethical?
Well, at first it was because I was in event production and coming out of the pandemic, I needed a job. But then when I learned what BSEC stood for, I became more interested and actually wanted to be involved.
I have a lot of people that I've known there for a long time, and that I have my friends there.
It's my family. This is my home now. This is where I'm most comfortable and I'm most cared for, and I feel like I can give care in return.
I go because I like to go and my parents are members.
What is your favorite thing about Brooklyn Ethical?
I guess I love Platform. I mean, I really do like Platform a lot. I think it's a time when, we try to all gather, and I love that we can do it on hybrid, on Zoom. I love Dupre and Barry's music. It's just a time to represent ethical culture and to be together in community.
Doing all of the art projects.
The members, my family.
I have an opportunity to bring song, and since song has always been my resistance.
I like the sense of community in the children's program specifically.
I love that it creates a environment in which my child can grow up in a multi-age community.
What is something you strive to do at Brooklyn Ethical?
I strive to use music to lift us up.
Bring order from some of the chaos of the lots of ideas out there. I like to take ideas and make them reality.
I strive to make Brooklyn Ethical relevant to our times.
To be my best self, as we all do, as many of us do.
What is a favorite moment you've had at Brooklyn Ethical?
The last potluck and postcarding, we didn't think anyone was going to come because it's some weird off-year election in Virginia, who cares, and we packed the place.
The kids had been doing permaculture in the backyard and doing flowers and bugs and all kinds of things, and everybody was running really happily. And Anne-Marie Mogul, who was our oldest member, came out, and they just ran to her to ask her questions about her life.
Barry and I gave a concert. It was a fundraiser for the accessibility ramp that was going to go into the building. And it was a full house. It was the music. It was just so much fun.
My wedding upstairs in the library, and my children's coming of age ceremonies.
What is something you wish people knew about Brooklyn Ethical?
I wish they knew more about the children's program so they could enroll their kids more.
That we're still here, that we're more than a building. You know, when we were in the old building, it was like, oh, what a beautiful building, Tiffany windows, it's gorgeous. But what goes on here, I think I want people to come through the door and see that we're still here, we're a vibrant community.
There is more to Brooklyn Ethical than just like the platforms and meetings, that there are also a lot of events and fun stuff that happens there.
If everyone at Brooklyn Ethical was one kind of animal, what would they be?
Cats, because we're really hard to herd.
A tribe of lions, because we are fierce in our determination to make the world a better place, and yet we support each other as a family, as a community, as a tribe.
A squirrel. I think you might have said this before, but honestly, I think meerkats.
Everybody had to be one animal? Ooh, that wouldn't be any fun.
Or different animals.
Yeah, I think we have to have a menagerie. We have to have a zoo. It would be very boring if we were all one animal.
Meerkats. I think we would be able to meerkats for several reasons. First, because they're very active and all over the place and checking things out and, bumping heads sometimes and then going to their holes and coming out in the sunlight. But when they see something, everybody hollers and warns each other that they need to be safe.
People just checking in to make sure that I have what I need. When you don't have a blood family relationship, this is infinitely better.
People are honestly trying, even if we fail often, to be better people and to do good and to do the right thing.
There's so many endless possibilities. But I'm open, I'm willing, and I'm able. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Brooklyn Ethical Coming of Age Cooking Show. Today we're making society chili.
I am Beatrice and this is Saskia, and let's get down to cooking. First, we've got to start our land, so I'll put that in the oven. I like to put it in for about 4 to 5 billion years. Now we can get started on our society.
I always like to just get started with the people because it really sets the tone and the flavor to your chili.
Definitely.
So let's just get a couple of these guys here. After that, I usually add in the arts.
Those are some good ones.
Yeah, I really like these ones. I had to go to a special grocery store for them.
You can just use any that you find at home, though.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very easy to come by ingredient,
Yeah.
I would say. After that, I would say add in some order. Yeah. And then, of course, you can't really have order without chaos to balance it all out. So let's add in some chaos.
Now, I like to put in some culture. This is a very important one. Yeah. Of course, we need language because people like talking. And some compassion. This one is my favorite, probably. This one's really good.
I would also make sure to add in some organization. It really ties everything together.
Yeah, we put all this stuff in, but what are they going to do with it?
What are they going to do with it, And then, of course, I think it's really important to add in agreements. This is also something that you can kind of just add whatever agreements are in your household and what you have around, but this is my personal favorite.
And we can't have all of this without some learning. So I just like to add a big dollop of learning on top. Yeah, I think that's it. Let's get it on the stove.
Yeah. How are we going to stir this?
We'll figure it out. I mean, it's just a chili, right?
Yeah, but society can be
it can be hard.
kind of difficult. Yeah.
So just stir it any way you can. It's good to stir for maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Just, until everything's well combined.
Yeah. This is smelling really good. Do you want to taste?
Yeah, I would love a taste, yeah. I feel like it could use maybe a little bit of passion or maybe some government. Some government here. Just a little bit of that in. And then let's add in a little bit of passion as well.
Yeah, it's probably really good now. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is good.
Well, it smells like our chili's just about done.
It really is.
So let's grab that.
I'm gonna get the land out now. It smells done as well.
It's funny how quickly 5 billion years gets past.
I know, right?
All right, let's give this one last taste.
Yeah. It's really, really good.
Yeah, wow. You can really taste the government.
Yep. And the passion.
Yeah.
The passion, really. Thank you so much for watching, and join us next week for our Justice Jello Salad on the Brooklyn Ethical Coming of Age Cooking Show.
Yeah. Thank you for watching, and see you guys next week. Whoops. The dog will get it.
Do you want to taste?
Yeah, I would love a taste, actually.
There's nothing small enough to fit in your mouth.
Eat the book.
Eat the book.
Okay.
All right, thank you for joining us on another episode of Brooklyn Society Coming of Age Cooking Show. Join us next week for our Justice Jello Salad. You don't want to miss that.
Okay, I have an idea. I think.
Stop eating. You ready?
Toothsome.
We'll watch this.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
What do you mean like it?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Cooking show.